at a certain point, you wake up and you be like, I deserve better. You know, I deserve better. Now I have a daughter. I can't watch I could have still today been in that situation and can be if I wanted to. Okay.
What up?
It's like,
tell us the truth. All right, what's good, YouTube? It's your man, Book of AlphaRonomy, a.k.a. Doc BOA. Yep, I got time today. Toya Carter, Lil Wayne's ex-wife and Regine's mama, has always been perceived as the perfect around-the-way girl. Now, that doesn't mean she's a perfect woman. That means she's a perfect around-the-way girl. Obviously, she's from the bricks. You know, her and Wayne got together when Wayne was really young. She was really young. So she's a hood chick. But she always seems to land on feet in a relationship with someone. And I'll tell you like this, she kind of puts me in the mind of Monica. She's always with somebody, but she's always booed up with somebody in a way they're either engaged or married. Now, Monica can't seem to get across the finish line, but Toya Carter seems to be able to get across the finish line. So whatever it takes for these men to be required to wife her up, she puts that on the table. And she's had 2 or 3 husbands, which is not necessarily a positive thing. But like I tell you, men, that first one that a woman falls for completely, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, the one she struggles with and goes through things with. And if that man mess around and be the father of her first child too, she never gets over him. And this is one example of that. Now, I'm going to tell you, men, all the men that a woman is with after she's with that man who locks her in, they never have complete access to her because there's a part of her that belongs to that man. There's some women that I've been with in the past that with a man right now, and he don't even understand. He'll never have full access to her. But hey, man, that's just the choices we make as men. But in this interview, man, Toya Carter is going to admit, while she's married now, that she could get back with Wayne if she wanted to. Now, I'm going to tell you what that indicates. It indicates one of 2 things. And these things are very similar and they're related. Either her and Wayne still dibble and dabble, like Future says, he still smash on C, or the amount of flirtatious interaction that goes on, there's enough innuendo there where the desire to be with each other is still there. And there's a great possibility that that line could be crossed at some point. And if you're a man, why put yourself in a situation like that? But let's take a listen to Toya Carter, man, and we'll come back and chop it up on a real tip.
Was it hard for you to make the decision to like leave the relationship? Because I remember reading your book. You obviously come from a broken home, right? And that was something that you struggled with, not wanting to give Regine. So was that something that was tough for you? And if so, what made you have enough strength to like say, I gotta do this?
I'm the type of person like, when things are not, when you're young, you go through a lot, you take a lot, but at a certain point, you wake up and you be like, I deserve better. I deserve better. Now I have a daughter. I can't watch I could have still today been in that situation and can be if I wanted to. Okay.
What up?
It's like, no shade or nothing. Like,
no, the thing is this. Listen, not to cut you off and not to put words in your mouth. I think we all know at the end of the day, you left Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
You left him.
Even though I got cheated on a million times.
You got cheated on.
But
right. But and this is no shade to anybody. And we're having a real conversation. At the end of the day, if you told Wayne today, I'm divorcing, God forbid, and let's do this, he will say yes. That's the gag.
Now, you know what? There's a lot of men who are with a woman, and this is the case. But when it's put on public display, there's no greater form of disrespect than for a woman to be positively talking about her ex right there, man, for the people to hear. Like, why is this even a topic? She should have passed on this and said, hey, look, I'm married right now. But she doesn't feel required to respond that way because she already got a sucker. Man, let me tell you something, man. It don't matter how beautiful a woman is. After a certain amount of bodies and a certain amount of husbands and a certain amount of everything, bro, you a sucker to deal with that woman in a serious manner. That body count stuff matters, man, because with that body count comes an emotional count and a spiritual count. I'm telling you, A woman's punishment for being with all of those men is that she loses bits of her femininity every time, and it's replaced by masculinity. So why would you take a half feminine version of a woman just because you see her and you like her, but she's been with all of these men? I'm telling you, it's not meant to be that way. And when you do that, you're in a situation where the woman will never respect you. I'm gonna tell you, no matter who you are, if you wife up a woman who has a high sexual history, bro, you are not going to be respected by that woman. I promise you. Will she appreciate you? No, she'll appreciate the things you do. And as long as you're doing those things, you'll think you have a loving wife. But those are the men who end up in the back end of divorce and get their pockets towed out the frame by the woman they thought loved them because you thought she loved and appreciated you instead of the things you do. And this is a situation that this guy's in. He don't even understand, man, that I guarantee you, if Wayne really put the pressure on Toya, he could smash her. She pretty much just said it. For a woman to be that confident that she could go back, there at least has to be conversations about it. Or they got to be tapping in a way that a married woman shouldn't be tapping in. A married woman shouldn't even be having that conversation with her ex. That's why I'm telling you, men, that's why in other cultures, virginity is prized. Now, here in America, they want to say, well, it don't matter. Virginity don't matter. Of course it don't matter in a society where it's gone. Nothing matters in a society where it doesn't exist. But we're not talking about this society. When it comes to dating and relationships, America is the most toxic culture on the planet. There's no culture that's worse than this one when it comes to dating and relationships. When it comes to the interaction between men and women, this is the worst culture. It's not even close. So we don't care what women think here and what they say here. Of course, they don't, because they champion running up your count. But when you put yourself in a situation with a woman, dog, where you see her history, even her history with the last guy she was with, man, all the drama that came from that, man, you just got to keep in mind, dog, that all you get from a woman is the same thing the last man got. She's a little bit more seasoned, so she knows how to maneuver around it. And she's also trying to rebound from whatever emotional stress she had from that, whatever emotional trauma she has left. So she's going to seem softer because she's hurting. But when you help her recover, when she drains your energy to recover with, you're going to realize that you got a worse version than that man had. The best version of Toya Carter was the version Wayne had. If you got a woman that's been married before, the best version of her is what the first man had. If a woman had 10 husbands and you the 11th husband, the 10th husband had a better version of her than you do. Why y'all settling for the worst version of women? Why y'all settling for the knockoff version of women? Why y'all settling for the used version of women? Why y'all settling for the pre-owned version of women? Why y'all settling for the rebuilt version of women? Why y'all settling for the junkyard version of women? Why y'all settling for the scrap metal version of women? Why y'all settling for anything less than the best version that a woman can offer you? Especially after you built your life up and got yourself together where you're living the life that you love. You're going to invite a woman into that. You're going to build that pristine environment, that life that took you years to build, a whole bunch of blood, sweat, and years, and a few tears in there, man, and overcoming some fears in there, man. And then you're going to put a woman in that position, dog, who just been with all of these men, bro, and doesn't even have the energy to implement any positive femininity into your life. Why would you do that? Help me understand why you would do that. What makes you think that that's the thing you ought to be doing? What makes you think that that's the thing you need to be doing? I'm going to tell you what you better be doing. Better be protecting your life and make sure you ain't putting a 3 or 4 in the position of wife. Women were not put here to be with all these men all throughout their lives, bro. They just weren't meant to do that. And if they have, that's them. That's their lives. No one cares. I'm telling you, don't tie that shit into your life. But hey, man, you do whatever you want to do. I'll be here when you need that consultation to extract yourself from that terrible situation. But remember, you might have to pay a little bit more because of inflation. Protect yourself before you wreck yourself. Like this video on your way out if you enjoyed the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. When you subscribe, click that notification bell. Make sure your notifications are on so you can be alerted to when I upload some more of this Prism of the Ism. And as always, Alpha's up, Beta's down. Peace.